Bentornati, and welcome back to the Listless Onion channel for Delta V Rings of Saturn. This is, in my opinion, one of the spaceyest of space games. So, if you have liked games like Star Sector, or recently my playthrough of Art Space Shipbreaker, this might be right up your alley. As you can see by the dynamic background, this is a game where you pilot a semi-realistic spaceship in 2D space in between the asteroids of the rings of Saturn. Your main goal, it seems, is the one of a miner, but you can also be a bounty hunter or a pirate, and there's weird things to discover among the ice rocks. What else can I say about this game before we start? Pretty quick, if you want to try this game, head over to Steam. Last time I checked, the demo was absolutely free, and also the demo is pretty much the entire game. So you can basically try the game for free, for as much as you like. But I totally encourage you to buy this game, because it doesn't cost much. Plus, this is made by a single developer. It is definitely worth it, at least for you to check out. So, without further ado, let's jump in. There is a short intro cinematic and then a tutorial. So,
you have to question everything. Why do people go missing in the rings? The company blames pirates. But why would anyone resort to piracy? There is no money to be made there. No glory. Only fear and, ultimately, death. Why would you choose that life? And why doesn't the company just blow them all up with an orbital strike? Don't tell me they don't know where they're hiding, with that array of telescopes watching everything. The company wants you to be an obedient little drone. Master ever doesn't care if it shoots ice, rocks, ships, or stations. They know that, and they hope you won't figure it out. They aren't your friend. Question everything.
so there it is. This is our ship. We start directly in the rings rather than in the station. We can later dock at the station at Enceladus Prime and check on whatever is there, but right now we gotta follow a tutorial. This is Enceladus Prime to ETH 7157 Careless Enterprise. I like that name. Your mining license doesn't check out. Hold your ship for remote inspection. So this is our procedurally generated name, Careless Enterprise. Now it wants us to bring our ship to a stop, which is done by pressing X. Seems that you are late for your periodic inspection of the Careless Enterprise. I can set you up for temporary permission remotely, but you'll have to... Would you wait for me to finish reading? Anyway, first let's check your autopilot orientation sensors. Orient your ship to 0 degrees and hold that heading. Wants us to use either the left and right keys. So this is what happens if I use the arrow keys. I like using the mouse though. I can either click with the right mouse button and I set the destination, or I can click and hold to steer in real time. It wants us to go this way, I think. Good, now set orientation to 90 degrees and hold that. So 90 degrees would be better in here. That seems to be in working order. Now your velocity sensors accelerate to 20 meters per second into the ring. Into the ring, it means into the rings of Saturn. Check out this. This is kind of our minimap. It's not really a minimap. This is a simulation of what the station on around the Enceladus would see. So it's kind of like a visual feed, and basically they find us because they see the flashes that come from our various engines, right? So how do we move? I can either use the arrow key up, or I can click and drag this little icon here. So when I drag, the circle moves. It's more like an octagon, and then the diamond follows to indicate that the actual speed vector is getting there. So we need to get to 20 meters per second. That's a little bit too much, actually. The velocity is indicated here, and it's relative to the ring. So if I'm going 20 meters per second, it means that the asteroids are gonna come towards me at 20 meters per second. It says now, good, now 5 meters per second towards the station and the edge of the ring, which means that way. So again, I click and drag. I could do it manually, but it's better to learn to do it this way. Oh, it's I'm at 4.8. A little bit more. Okay, good. Hold your position now. Again, X to hold your position. Give me a moment to fill this out. I'll get right back to you. By the way, I think there are two ways to pilot. I prefer WASD, and also Q and E are used. We'll have a bit of tutorial about that later, and the mouse. But you can, instead of using the mouse, you can use the arrow keys. Okay, Careless Enterprise, it's time to check your mining equipment. Hold your position. We were still. Let's check your excavator. Open it. So opening the excavator, you can do either with the Enter key, I guess if you're using only keyboard, or middle mouse button, or also the button that is under your mouse wheel. So if I press and hold the mouse wheel, that's the excavator on the right side opening up. I detect an ore nugget nearby. Target locking you. Fly slowly towards it with your excavator open. So basically the tutorial already did the target locking for us. Otherwise, it's something like this. You click on something and you get a target lock. When you are target locked, your navigation is always relative to that object. So if the object was moving, our movement would be matched to that object. Now to go towards it, I need to again move the let's say vector indicator, this diamond thing. I need to move it in that direction, so something like this. I can zoom in, and then I open the excavator, and the nugget gets in the hold. There it is. Checking calibration of autopilot target lock. Target one of the ice rocks floating around you. One of the ice rocks. Let's target this one. Good. Now hold your relative velocity to that rock. I need to scan the area. So X in this case brings us to a stop relative to the target. We are clear of any ships. You are authorized to fire your mass driver. Our mass driver is both a weapon and a mining tool, being basically a railgun, and it's fired with space. Boom. There you go. We need to check target lock resolution. Lock on something small and shiny like an ore nugget. You might want to check on your LiDAR. This is our LiDAR. It's also showing things like this, which is an ore nugget. Good, now match velocity to that nugget with X. Okay, we're done with this part. Give me a minute to record this. You might want to use this time to mine. You know what? Let's get towards that. If I click and drag, I start closing in on the ore nugget. There it is, coming towards us. Right now we know nothing about this. We don't know what it is. We don't know how rich in mineral it is. We can only get an estimate after it is in our cargo hold. Now, and I want to check you this. This is our cargo hold. Okay, time to check your manual controls. Let's finish the tutorial first. Hey, dude, stop. Okay, for some reason the autopilot was going crazy. Time to check your manual controls. First, stop your ship using the autopilot. So X. Okay, autopilot, stop my ship. Okay, your autopilot seems to be in working order. Now manual control. Disengage the autopilot and fire RCS manually. RCS stands for Reaction Control System, which means the series of little engines, little rocket engines that are scattered around your ship. You can pilot those manually pressing WASD, Q and E. They are already mapped, the keys, to the number and distribution of rockets that makes sense, okay? Also, when it says disengage the autopilot, if you press any of these keys, the autopilot is immediately disengaged. And that is represented by the fact that this green circle goes away. So for example, if I press Q, this happens and I start rotating. If I want to stop rotating, I need to press E to rotate on the other, direction. Good. Now the main torch. Let's stop with using the autopilot is the best way to stop, Also because it can do something like that because it's trying to, keep you there, and it's using the RCS thrusters to do so. So now the main torch manually, that would be with the left shift key. The main torch is our main engine, is this thing here. There you go. Now re-engage autopilot and come to a full stop, pressing X. X also re-engages autopilot. There you go. Final point, bring up your onboard maintenance systems. While you're there, you might want to familiarize yourself with the current astrogation interface. There may have been updates since you were licensed. So J brings up this. Seems to be operational. This concludes the remote inspection. You can astrogate back to the station at Enceladus Prime for your permanent license, or just stay in the rings and mine a bit longer. Your current temporary license is good for one dive. Good profits, careless enterprise, and watch yourself. Rings are a dangerous place. Enceladus out. Okay, so they mentioned the maintenance interface. This is the maintenance interface. All our subsystems are listed in here. And you can also see how those subsystems are mapped to our keys. For example, you can see that the key Q and also E and also D and A are mapped to multiple thrusters. And that is represented by what you saw earlier. So if I press Q, there's these two opposite thrusters. And if I press E, the other way around, right? So this is all represented here. I could turn one off, like so. Now if I press E, only one thing fires, and that's not great. That's not perfect, right? This also has an effect. If some of these parts get damaged, your ability to move gets impaired accordingly. These sliders are used to try and minimize the effect, let's say, of misalignment. So should this green bar go back and become yellow and then red, I can try and correct the misalignment at the expense of wear and choke, for example. Then we have our onboard computer that from time to time you might want to turn off and on again. This always makes me chuckle. It's a great addition to this game. This is our nuclear reactor. I don't know if you if you turn it off, I don't know if you can turn it on again, to be honest. I never tried. Then we have other tabs. The pilot tab would let us, for example, hail one of these contacts, this SE12044. Are we even in range? Maybe we are not, but if we get closer, we can start a conversation with this other ship, probably. Geologist tab would tell us, for example, what kind of minerals do we have in our cargo hold. The numbers float a little bit because these are estimates. Like, we are in our ship, but our cargo hold, like, it's open to space, so we can't really, like, get there and make inventory of what we have. If we later hire a geologist person, they will make estimate of what the nuggets are before we capture them, and that's incredibly useful. The tutorial mentioned also astrogating. This is our astrogator. It means navigating, but we are not at sea, so we don't navigate, we astrogate. You use the astrogator, for example, to say, hey, let's get back to Enceladus Prime station. You would say plot a course, and it would do that. Before we do that though, before we head back to station, let's mine a little bit, because I want to show you what the rings are. As you can see in our kind of mini-map in the visual feed right here, this is black, this is like empty space, and this begins to, you know, have a more light color, and that represents the fact that the rings get thicker and thicker as you move to the right. This thing zooms in and out on its own. I'm doing nothing to it, and this is because it's supposed to be a passive visual feed that we get from the station. Anyway, let's go find a few asteroids. Actually, let's go check on this person. It's not a person. It is a life pod. This seems to occur pretty reliably in the latest versions. Okay, I'm gonna show you my trick on how do I collect these things. The problem is that this is a narrow and long object, so to get it into the cargo hold, we need to like swallow it like a pill. I hope that analogy makes sense. Before we do that though, let's check on this guy. Seems friendly. So J, let's open this up. Let's go to the pilot interface. Okay, we get a hail error from this. This might be the pod. Who is this guy? I think he's 1142. So let's hail them. This is Sagan's Mercy. You seem lost. Need help? No, I'm good. Sagan's Mercy. All good. Thank you. Now let me collect this. Okay, let's set a course so that we get there really slowly. Oh, we can even match speed, of course. Now I want to align myself like so. No, my dude. Okay, let me do this manually. Okay, like this. Because basically using the side of my ship, I want to make the pod stop rotating. Okay. Slowly. Okay, pretty much stop rotating. Now ever so slightly. Let it drift away. I'm not touching anything right now because the exhaust from my engines could push this away. Okay, so everything in here, like it's simulated, right? So now let's go backwards. So let's fire manually the frontal RCS. Oh no, dude, like stop. Stop doing that. I'm doing a very delicate maneuver here. Okay, now I can use this to match. Okay, I need to align myself better. This is like very slowly rotating this way. If I drag this like so. Okay, I'm mostly aligned now. Alright, now it's time to go towards it. Easy. Easy. Flawless. Okay, okay. Now, I press X and stop. If you look in here, this number is now 63,000 credits. That's because salvaging a let's say a life pod in space usually gives you a reward of around 50,000 credits. So already we are making money. Now we can collect some of these nuggets. This was probably mined by somebody else, but unless somebody has a claim on an area, you are free to just mine whatever. It's a good idea at the start to mine while slowly moving to the right, because basically as you move you find better and better stuff. If you want to make sure to hit something, click on it so you are sure to be aligned, then use a mass driver and look for the blip. Okay, that's the resulting nugget. While I get there, I could also fire on something else. Okay, we got 2 small nuggets. To get this one, I would have stopped first. I'm piloting manually right now. Something like this. Let's see if I can capture it manually, right? That could be fun. There you go. That's nice. Let me also show you something else. You see how things kind of slosh around in your cargo hold. If you're not careful and you open up the excavator, which means you open up your cargo hold to space, and for example start accelerating backwards, that stuff can come out. Because right now there's nothing holding it there. Okay, so try to pay attention. Whoa, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's going really quick, but it's also really good. I don't think we can catch with that, but yeah, no, that's also not a good idea. I'm going real quick right now. Stop. But yeah, like a bluish nugget is beryllium, and beryllium is very pricey, so it's very precious, right? So when you see beryllium, if you can get it, get it. Anyway, this is absolutely not the perfect place to mine. I'm just doing some mining just to show you, right? So as you can see, larger rocks get split into smaller rocks, and then smaller rocks can hold usually one or more nuggets. Be careful while target locking things, because if you target lock something that moves, you're gonna move together with that thing, so you could very much, impact into something while doing this. I think, yeah, since we are, breaking rocks by throwing something like 10 kilograms titanium slugs to them, 10 kilograms, I think it's something like 20 pounds. So imagine a chunky 20-pound, titanium cylinder, right? It's just natural that the resulting pieces would shot out at great speed. Later on we can switch to more refined mining equipment that doesn't do as much damage. So let's mine just a little bit more. We're about 83k estimate, of course. There's no guarantee that would be the price. There was nothing there. Yeah, a couple of nuggets in there. It's cool. Okay, right now I was decelerating. It's not a good idea to open the cargo hold while decelerating. All right. Okay, let's just get one last nugget. Also because that big life pod is taking up big chunk in our cargo hold. Absolutely, when a cargo hold gets full, you will not be able to fit anything else in there. All right. That's it. Let's say that now we want to astrogate back. So we want to get back to the station. First of all, we stop. Then we make sure to be relatively free of debris around us. And this circle can pretty much guide you. If you know, zoom out, you know, if this circle is mostly clear of stuff, you can point in that direction, then click on J, Astrogator, and Celadus Prime Station, plot a course. And this thing goes on. If nothing enters this inner circle for the time needed to calculate the trajectory, you are good. And at this point, when it goes like this, you don't need to touch anything. You are good. All right, and we are at the station. This is what we got. So the various minerals that we collected from the nuggets. There's also like water, because those asteroids are mostly ice. That's why they are often called iceroids. So we got beryllium, some iron, palladium, platinum, and vanadium. And I think you can also find tungsten, which is the W. Anomalies. This will be our anomaly. Life pod rescue reward. 50,000. There it is. So let's sell all of this and we get 91,000. It's pretty good for a first dive. Of course, you can do much better if instead first thing you go as much right as you can. If you get something like 20-30 kilometers deep into the rings, you can get much better rocks there. But for sure, managing to salvage that first pod, it's a great idea. I like that it seems to be very frequent for you to get that life pod as one of the first encounters in the game, because if you manage to get that, that's a nice boost to your first economy, let's say. So here in the station, what do we have? In order of importance, let's say, repairs. We're all green, we didn't have any major impact nor combat, so our stuff is all in the green. However, you can see that stuff that it's even slightly worn out, let's say, you can totally replace. This would be the cost of replacing a single RCS thruster of this model, okay? A RAK-37 would cost us 557 credits. And it takes 1 hour. Time is also important. If you spend a week doing repairs, you might get to the end of the month, and maybe at the end of the month you need to pay some of your crew. So that's something to keep into consideration. When you have a mechanic and when the damage is, let's say, non-trivial, there's the option to fix. Fixing usually means halving the distance between your current, percentage and 100%. So if you're like if your thruster is 50% and you fix once, you get to 75 or something like that. I don't think it's exactly like that, but it's a pretty good match. Okay, so for things that are very expensive, sometimes it's better to spend time doing repairs, and that also depends on how good your mechanic is. Where do you get your mechanic? Well, we want to stop in here in the crew tab. We currently have no crew, so we want to hire. We want to get for sure a geologist and a mechanic. If we also find a cheap astrogator, And pilot, also let's get them. This is a really cheap pilot. They are self-taught and have no experience, but it's good. They can grow with us. So let's hire this pilot. Sarah Michael, welcome aboard. The Careless Enterprise. This is a geologist. She wants 11,000 credits a month. Let's see if there's a... Oh, this is a master geologist. 37,000. Can't I get a geologist that doesn't want me dead? She wants 47. Again, high but no experience, 21,000. That's a lot. An astrogator, self-taught, no experience, 3,000. That's pretty good. And an astrogator can be really nice because an astrogator can help you find points of interest. So let's hire Skylar Thornton. I think the first geologist was the best option here. You know what? 11,000. We can probably make 11,000 by the turn of the month. Like it's not that hard to make money in this game. So she has high education, so the prediction accuracy of the value of ore nuggets will be good. She doesn't have a lot of experience, so the mineral discovery range isn't great. But again, she will learn. She will learn. So let's hire Kelly Yates. So we have a geologist, we have a pilot and an astrogator. Let's see if we find a good mechanic. It's nice to have a full complement of crew. If you can pay them, of course. Pilot, astrogator, mechanic. 17,000 is it's a little bit. It's a little bit. And I don't plan on taking much damage. So I'm gonna skip on the mechanic for now. Maybe that is not a good idea. If I were you, don't skip on the mechanic. But you know what? I played this game once or twice. I'm pretty sure I can pay them, so I'll do this. But if you can find, cheaper, crew, that definitely start with cheap crew. That's a good idea. Now we still have 78,000. Before we go back there for another ring dive, let's visit the equipment. Equipment lets you change or buy new stuff for all your subsystems. You can see in here, in the high stress hardpoint, we have installed a mass driver. This one in red would be stuff that we can buy. When you replace stuff, you get the full benefit, from selling your old equipment. So it's not a problem if you do this and then you go back, you get a full refund is the right term. I think I want to get a railgun, because the railgun fires really quickly and fires smaller projectiles. So also the let's say the force imparted on the rocks will be less, because this one says projectile mass 10 kilograms, 2 kilograms. So in the end, each shot, it's 1/5 of the energy, which means that the rocks should fly away slightly, slower, more slowly. We have other hardpoints where we could fit other things. I don't have much money though. I'd rather go to my cargo bay and add to my cargo bay baffles, which is basically this. So it's basically like a valve, so to speak, that makes it so that stuff that you have in your main cargo hold doesn't immediately go back out. So that's really nice. I could buy a recon drone. Let me see. What about the autopilot? A better autopilot would give us more information about the stuff that is around us. It doesn't immediately show in here, but it can basically enrich your HUD with indicators that tell you how far asteroids are. So I'm gonna get this for 17,000, and then I want to see if I can get better thrusters. So reaction control system, I have this one, the RAK37. I mainly look at thrust. This would be 200 kilonewton of force, and propellant consumption tells you how much fuel it uses per second. So let's see if we can get a little bit better thrust without going too much higher in consumption of propellant. Here we have 150, not great. However, it's much lower in propellant consumption, so it's more efficient. That is also represented in here by this very important stat. This is read delta V. What's your delta V? This is expressed in meters per second. The delta V is how much you can change your velocity vector. So for example, if you're going in one direction at 10 meters per second, if you want to stop, you need to decelerate of 10 meters per second. So you need at least a delta V of 10 meters per second. Now, if you want to instead not only stop, but reverse and go in the opposite direction, again at 10 meters per second, you need a 20 meters per second delta V, because you need to bring your current vector to 0 first and then, accelerate on the other side. I hope that helps. But basically, if your delta V is 0, it means that your ship is dead. Wherever it was going, it will continue to go in that direction until it hits something, right? So delta V is pretty important. Hence the name, delta V, Rings of Saturn. Let's look at more stuff. 400 is pretty good. And looking at this, let's let this simulation go on for a second. It seems like we have pretty much no impact on our delta V. If we buy this, we pretty much have double force. Okay, so I'm gonna buy this, the RAK44 thrusters. This icon here indicates that this kind of thruster is taxing a little bit the ability of our reactor to produce heat, because all of our thrusters operate out of the heat output of our main nuclear reactor. But let's buy this for now. If I look at the reactor core, we can upgrade it, but it's a little bit pricey. So not gonna do that. I don't think I'm gonna update anything else at the moment. We have crew, we have a few updates. Let's go back for a quick ring dive. This video is probably already pretty long. The next ring dive, it's gonna be mostly a demonstration. I'm gonna try and go to the right as much as possible, but I'm gonna probably either speed up or cut that as much as possible. I just want to show you where the rich veins are. Okay, so let's launch a ring dive. We'll get to this interface. When, if you want, you can dial how much propellant are you gonna bring and how much mass driver ammo you're gonna get. But usually it's a benefit to get the full thing. Last thing about the map. These, formations are usually where the nice stuff is. You can click in here. Oh, look, there's a small formation here. This is probably around 30 kilometers in. So if I select something like this and I launch, maybe I can get there. Maybe. Okay. Careless Enterprise. Free flight inspection, okay. Docking free. or dock free to undock. Whatever, let's go. There we are. We are back at the rings. As you can see, we are fairly close to that formation. Okay, this is what I was talking about when I bought that. Let's stop for a second. When I bought that upgraded autopilot, it gives you this indication. These dots lets you know how close, you know, stones that could impact on you are. Okay, so if I start going, again, I'm using left mouse button, click and drag to the right. Oh, there's another thing I could have done. I could have increased the maximum velocity for the autopilot. Never mind, I'll do that in the next episode. Yeah, if you look at this, they get brighter and they get more like on a red color, you know. So see, this red thing it's in the same direction of this rock, right? So what I want to do now, I want to go as fast as possible, which right now it's constrained at 50 meters per second, but you can tweak that when you are at the station. I think you can put this max velocity as much as 100 meters per second, but that is breakneck speed. Because the thing is, if you go really quick and you suddenly find that there's an asteroid in front of you, you need to be able to do something like this, you know, and navigate around it. Of course, the faster you're going, the harder that is to accomplish. Now, if you want to try and do this, I suggest that you take it slow. At least at first, try to use the autopilot, so do what I'm doing and click and drag this, so that you can, like, first of all, like, this line gives you a very convenient indication of your trajectory, right? So you are going to notice that, first of all, yeah, this red line is this, and there is no line coming directly towards us. However, that line that was there, we might want to steer clear of that. There's this little thing, so we can go that way slightly, and we avoid it. Okay, so if you do this and you're careful, you will avoid impacts. Impacts are bad. If you bash on a rock hard enough, you can, you know, damage multiple components. If you hit your ship's rear part, you could cause a leak in your reactor, and as you can imagine, that's not good. If the damage is bad enough, your ship might explode, and that's not great. So take it slow, slowly avoid asteroids, and just go right. Go right as much as possible. This depth is what you want. Right now we are 8 kilometers in. You want to go at least 20 or 30, or until you get into one of these, you know, thick formations of asteroids. Okay, so I'm now gonna maybe speed up the process, so I'll meet you there. Oh, what is this? We seem to have come in the vicinity of a fairly big Phage class station beta. You know what? Turn around. Engage main torch. And stop. This is called cruel predator? Okay, maybe I don't want to get close to that. Do I? Can I hail? Pilot. IRRS 8 or B. Cruel predator. This is Autonomous Mineral Processing Station IRRS B. State your business, ETH 7157. Autonomous? Autonomous second-class mining station, IRSB, designation cruel predator or predator. Kelly Yates doesn't really like that, and she would want to say, and what, you just autonomously steal our jobs like that? Not sure I want to anger the AI station though. Can you tell me more about AI classification? According to the Los Angeles Convention of 2184, all AI are divided into 3 classes. Class 1 AI is a non-sentient program. Class 2 AI has recognized sentience but restricted growth potential. Class 3 AI is recognized to be capable of self-directing its growth and is granted the rights of citizenship. You are telling me that you are sentient? My behavioral imperatives do not allow me to answer that. You just said you're class 2 and defined class 2 as having recognized sentience. As a citizen, you are free to conclude anything you wish. My behavioral imperatives do not permit me to comment. So we can either antagonize or say, do you sell reaction mass? H2O reaction mass available at 1 credit per kilogram. Dock at arms to commence transaction. Skylar Thornton would say, hey there, Bill. Activate discount code. Whoa, they have a discount code? Employee discount code accepted. Price adjusted to 0.1. Have a nice day, Skylar. Okay, we can refuel at this robot station. At the same time though, for some reason, do you see this reddish glow? Reddish glow means danger. I initially associated the danger to the station here, but maybe it's not. Maybe the danger comes from somewhere else. However, I'm not seeing anything else on my LiDAR. So we can dock at the arms here and get a really cheap refuel. Let's get close. Nice and easy. All right. We're getting a nice refuel. Look at that. Real cheap. By the way, we didn't need much fuel, so. And just like that, we're out. If you look at this, at the feed, could you just stop rotating like that? We are really close to our destination. We should be able to start mining good stuff real soon. So let's get in the thick of it. I'm listening to the music. This is action music. This is almost combat music. But it's fading. Ooh, look at this. Okay, one quick tip that I heard from the developer himself during a live stream. By the way, if you look up Codera either on YouTube or Twitch, you can catch them play their own game, or even working on it, actively developing. So the tip is, when you see an asteroid that rotates, that means that there's a lot of minerals in it. Okay, let's see what our geologist thinks. So we can interrogate the geologist and see if they know anything. Not really, not really. We can also instruct them to not bother us with rocks below a certain value. So let's say that we want to know only about an estimate of 5,000 units and up, right? We can do that. Okay, should we mine the big boy here? Let's start. This thing is gonna get quite the pummeling. Okay, break it up to smaller chunks, and there we have nuggets flying off. Ooh, 40,000. Look at this. So this, whoa. Ah, whoa. Fortunately, our engines melted some of the ice there. What was I saying? Our geologist has quickly assessed the value of some of these nuggets, and as you can see, some of these are really valuable. That one is a 10,000 credits worth of platinum right there. Approximately 3 tons of platinum in a single nugget. So let's get this one. There you go. Very nice. Now back to where we were. That seems to be beryllium. However, it's not showing up. It's not opening up the interface. So the geologist must have judged this to be not that rich. Let's look at this. This is again tungsten, not great. Oh, there's a 13,000 nuggets trapped in between these two. Let's blast a few rocks away. 6,000 this one. 9,000 that one. Oh, that's really small. Let's go for this one first. Need to be careful. This guy is pretty chunky, pretty big. Let's go for it. Nice. Okay, we have 9,000 more credits. Again, tungsten. Let's actually break this one first. Okay. There you go. This one is in the cargo hold too. Let's get back in there. I mean, 6,000. It's also good. Like later in the game, you don't want to stop for maybe anything below, I don't know, 10, 15. It really depends on your, let's say how much time do you have, how much propellant do you have, how quickly can you mine. We have rodents. Some of the insulation is chewed away. You know what we do for that? Let's stop. I remember this event. Okay, everyone, suit up. We are going to vent air. And there is possibly some consequence for these choices. I still haven't encountered a harsh consequence for this, like for saying we are gonna vent air. But maybe if you choose the other one, I'm guessing you could have problems with those rodents still being on the ship. And as you saw already, having people on your crew opens up a lot of dialogue options. That's gonna be a big rock. 19. That's... give me that. Give me that. And I'm gonna get the 6000 too, if you don't mind, before we crash on some rocks, please. Thank you very much, sir. And then we get back where we were, because that seems a very good spot. By the way, while you mine, always take a look at your delta V in here. As you can see, it's already in the yellow, meaning that we are going through propellant. At the same time though, we can always go back to our AI friend there and buy some more. Where was I? Around here, maybe? Is that one of my rocks? Only one way to find out. That's a little bit far away now. Our geologist isn't great at assessing chunks of stone that are too far away. Whoa, 27. That is rich. This is a really good tungsten area. Look at that, 14. Quick. Give me the goods. So you see, there's definitely a value to get in a deeper, portion of the rings, because value of minerals, or I should say of chunks that you mine, it's gonna be much, much higher. This thing is gonna bounce. There it is. Gonna bounce and stop, almost, apparently. Let's wait a second. It's definitely worth it. It's worth the wait. Lock and scoop. Okay. Let's take a look. Ooh, these are nice. 28, 24. We've hit the mother lode, people. Give me. Don't you dare go away from me. That's another ton of tungsten right there, 7,000. Let's catch these two. We're gonna make some good upgrades after this. Alright. So at this point, the geologist must have had a lot of time to assess this stuff, and so now it can give us a little bit of a distribution map. So if we highlight tungsten with a W, she says, well, this is the area where tungsten is gonna be. There's also a little bit of platinum, a little bit of iron, beryllium this way. By the way, we are getting so much tungsten and such, rich nuggets. We might as well stay here or in the vicinity. Oh, that was a nugget that came straight towards us. Look at that, it's pretty rich too. And it's beryllium. Lock. Nice. Beryllium was more on this side. You know what? Let's go and see if we can get a little bit of beryllium. I shouldn't break the asteroids from so far away. I need to give some space to my geologist to assess the situation. Vanadium. No, these aren't that great. And you can tell by the weight. If you see in here, it's 3 tons of ice, 700 kilos of tungsten. If you see, I don't know, 2 tons of tungsten, that's of course a lot more. Stuff is shooting out all over the place. Not very rich in here. That's beryllium, 6,000. Probably this one's gonna be good. That's another beryllium one. That was our computer rebooting because we probably consumed too much electricity firing the mass driver so quickly. That is also a concern. You use your stuff too aggressively. Oh, look at that, 12,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Making good profits. All right. Whoa, 33. Dude. That's a chunk of change. And by the way, as we pick up stuff, the total mass of our ship goes up. Basically means the ship becomes heavier and heavier. A heavier ship is harder to steer, right? And that reflects in our delta V going down. So delta V goes down both because we are consuming propellant and also because we are collecting minerals, which makes us heavier, or maybe I should say more massive, because it's not really weight. In space we should talk about mass. Palladium, again very rich in tungsten, this area. Let's get that tungsten. Total profits almost getting to the 300,000. It's very good as a second dive. I found a place that is very rich indeed. Let's look at the geological map again. They say that there's beryllium around here. Maybe in there? Imaginary Python. There is no blip in. There is no blip on the radar. No, there is one actually. So I can hail you. This is MRS 2407, Imaginary Python of Vilsey, to all ships in the area. Bounty hunt in progress. Stand clear. Acknowledge the Imaginary Python, have a good hunt. Okay, these are bounty hunters. Bounty hunters are good guys, but if there's the good guys, means there's also the bad guys somewhere. So keep that in mind. When you see the bounty hunters and they say there's a hunt in progress, means that there's some pirates going around. And yes, there is beryllium, but pretty small rocks. And I don't want to collect small rocks. All right, let's see if we find anything else that is like juicy enough to warrant opening the cargo hold. This platinum. 1500 kilos worth of platinum. So I want to crack this up real quick. Geologist, anything good? You see anything good? I don't even see the nuggets. They probably shot out so fast. You know what? Oh, combat music. We're getting close to something dangerous. Okay, you know what? This is a good time to astrogate. Let's see if we manage to get off the map before something scary finds us. Astrogator. Oh, you see, when you find something, I failed to convey this. So the Phage class station beta, right, which is the AI station, now we have it on the map, which is also really convenient because it means that in the future we can fast travel to this, right, and we are directly in this area, so that I don't need to travel all the way here. There is another mechanism. You can buy a beacon, but you have to carry it in place yourself and release it there, and then pay for the beacon to stay there for a number of days. Whereas if you have a good astrogator, they will remember, they will know how to plot the position of a point of interest for a long time. So let's go to Enceladus Prime. Plot a course. Nothing is in range. We can plot the course, and we're off. All right, look at this. It was actually a little bit less than we thought, because again, depending on the expertise of your crew, they will give you an estimate, but it was in the ballpark of 280k. It proved out to be more like 260, but then again, still a pretty big chunk of change. And it's 23,000 in beryllium. There's some palladium, some vanadium in there, but the biggest, profit comes from all that tungsten that we found. Now, I'm gonna show you this. You can either sell all of this directly or send them to storage, and I'm gonna show you what that means. I send to storage. I don't receive any money, of course, but I can visit the mineral market. This is like trading stock, or stocks, I should say, or stonks, as somebody might prefer saying. So you can see in here the prices of mineral goes up and down, or they go up and down. It's probably better. So for example, beryllium right now, it's pretty low comparatively. Like, it's been up here. It's been 27.26. Right now it's 23.25. I mean, compared to the low amount that we have, it's not a big deal, right? Because this for us, it's like having one unit. Okay. But let's say that you then later on are capable of mining really large quantities of mineral, right? You can definitely accumulate them and wait for a moment in which the price is high and sell at that point. Or you can even take a look at this and buy. If you take one of these lines and do this is like buying a stock, or I don't know how to say this, buying a shipment of iron, right? But you must know that we are buying at this price. If you bought at this price and then sold at this one, you would have had a return on it, some form of revenue. That's the term I was looking for. And then to sell, you do this. Now, we have this. Does it make sense for us now to not sell this beryllium? Really not. So we do this and we sell. Also this water, just sell it. Platinum too, it's not the highest price it has, but we can sell. Vanadium also could be higher, but we just sell. Fortunately for this tungsten, that's comparatively pretty high. So we sell this and we get to 260,000. And that is amazing. I think this warrants a little celebration for this crew. You know, they've just been hired. We go out there and we come back with 260,000. That's pretty great. So I think we can go to services and offer drinks to everybody at the Twins. The Twins are a renowned entertainment establishment located in the Twin Towers overlooking the rim of Enceladus Prime Station. Famous for the all-you-can package, their establishment serves organics only. So I'm sorry guys, if one of you is an android, you can really get in, or at least make sure nobody notices, right? But yeah, let's buy everybody a round of drinks for merely 1,500 credits. There you go, and people are gonna be really happy. If you do this enough, you're gonna say a smiley face on people. I don't know if I buy another round. There you go, people. See? Let's go to crew. Does it show in here in crew? No, it doesn't. Can I no, I can't really put this away. But basically, all of them now have this icon, because they can, like for example, if you don't pay them, they are gonna get sad. I think they might leave. I'm not sure. I don't think I ever got anybody really sad, but I think they perform better when they are happy. Probably. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, guys, this is Rings of Saturn. Sorry for the pretty long episode, but this game is like this. This can be a really chill game. Of course, until you smash on an asteroid or until one of those ships starts shooting at you or targeting you with microwaves or lasers and stuff like that. But most of the time you can just chill. You can just decide that you are gonna travel 100,000 kilometers inside the rings and see what you find, and find a small moon or some AIs or a meteorite shower or some bombs or something like that. I think it's really nice, and that the ones among you that are fans of space games are gonna enjoy this. If you like this, let me know in the comments what kind of format would you prefer. Like with this game, we can go with really long sessions. Like you can mine for hours at a time with this. We could very much do like one dive per episode. But the thing is, let's imagine that we go out and we find a derelict spaceship that is much better than ours. The most, wise thing to do would be to end the dive right there and bring that better ship home and repair it. So a dive can be really short, or it can be really long. So I don't know. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you prefer, because in the end, I mean, I like this game, but I can even play it without recording it, right? If I'm recording, I might as well do it in a way that you enjoy. That said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next episode of Delta V Rings of Saturn. Alla prossima!